YouTube? How are you doing? HeirofCarthage here, and welcome back to another Total War Warhammer 2 battle. And this one's gonna be an interesting one. Have you ever thought about the Vampire Coast without guns? Yeah, most of us don't think that way. In fact, I haven't even used the Vampire Coast much in multiplayer. I really enjoyed them in single player. I don't really enjoy them much in multiplayer. I'm not any good with them and just haven't felt like taking the time to be any good with them. But hey, it's all good and fun anyway, so let's check out a Vampire Coast build. This is going to be an interesting one. We have Aranessa, the Queen of Salt, atop her Hermit... That's not her. We're going to have a Vampire Fleet Captain, Lore of Deep here, and then Aranessa Saltspite. Both of them riding astride their Hermit Crab of the Grave. Oof, a rotting, disgusting Hermit Crab. Looks very wonderful, and I bet the smell is just as good. Look at Aranessa up there, perched atop her Hermit Crab. She's looking pretty happy. This is going to be an almost no missile Vampire Coast, and the only missiles are really some zombie deck mob with bombs. Yes, bombs. You heard me right. You're not going to see that one too often. We got 3 Fellbats up in front here. Nice choice, actually. A good way to stop charges and to tie down a flying unit, which you won't have to worry about from this enemy because it's Beastmen, but still a good choice. And then here's our 2 zombie pirate gunnery mob bombers. We're going to have the Tide of Scold here, which is a zombie pirate deckhand mob. There's a couple more of those deckhand mobs, a couple with pole arms out on the flanks. And then we have the Bloody Reaver deck guard here. This is a, like, vomit color themed unit. I mean, seriously, I'm not getting the theme on these guys. I guess it's supposed to look like mold or something, but they literally look like they were puked right up out of Davy Jones' locker. Or if the toilet in Davy Jones' locker overflowed on Taco Tuesday, then these guys are what results. And then if we take a look behind them, we're going to have the Night Terrors Mournghouls. Now here's a unit that looks a lot more menacing. I mean, I don't know, unless you're menaced by a disgusting poop stench, but there you go. Then we got some Sirens in the back as well. This is going to be an interesting pick because they are going up against the Beastmen, and then you all also saw these animated Hulks, and then there was another unit of animated Hulks over here. So really cool army from the Vampire Coast, not skirmishy whatsoever. And as for the Beastmen, I can see a unit of Harpies there on that flank. There are 4 Gore Herds with shields. They are clearly expecting missile fire. They have forward deployed those units because they want to close the distance quickly and not take that missile fire. There's a Minotaur with great weapon. This would be a good unit for taking down large units that the Vampire Coast might bring. So, you know, maybe you've got your Necrofex Colossus or something like that. Then we've got the Butchers of Kalkengard shielded, a very good choice. Like how they've got some leftover Empire skeletons on their shields there. Looks very decorative, very festive. Over here we're going to have Morgur the Shadow Gave, and he's going to have him a Bray Shaman. This is going to be Lore of Beast, and folks, I kid you not, the transformation of Kaiden here, so he's also got Doomflock. Pretty good picks, honestly. And then we're going to have some Piggy Chariots and Piggy Herd over here, so Woo Pig Chewy. Here comes the Razorbacks. I mean, Razor Gores, my bad. Yeah, same thing. Alright, so, yeah, they're both bad-looking pigs, and they lose a lot of games. Okay, I'll tone it back. Anyway, we've got a standard Razor Gourd Chariot mixed in with the Razor Gourd Herd, and there's a little bit of the same on the other flank. Now, Razor Gourd Herd is an interesting pick. I'm not sure what armor you're expecting, except for maybe Depth Guard from the Vampire Coast, so not sure I like the Razor Gourd Herd pick. I think you'd be better off with something like Centigores. Just a better unit versus these guys, but I don't know. What do I know? So look at the 3 Fellbats. The Vanguard deployed troops getting immediately interrupted. Over here, getting bombed, and then the animated Hulks getting in. So the Vanguard deployment not doing a whole lot. The charge was slowed down massively. We're already getting a Manticore summon right here. And now Morgur, the Minotaurs with great weapons, will be in a good spot against these animated Hulks. The Hulks, however, will get a little bit of damage done back against those Minotaurs. Not a lot, but they'll get a little bit done. You can see the battle here. Look at this spell back here with the depths from the vampires summoning up a unit of rotting Prometheans right into that Razor Gore Herd. What a trap. Well done. Those units berserk. The Sirens are going to be a fantastic pick against the Beastmen here. And you can see here that the Vampire Fleet Captain The Bloody Reaver Vomit Guard and the Sirens are going to trap this Feral Manticore. Will be a pretty cool looking display. Not a good place for the Manticore. Here comes some Summoned Spawn off of Morgar. And the thing with the Beastmen is the Beastmen really are going to be best in a quick knockout type of situation. It is hard to get a quick knockout on the Vampire Coast because they don't rout. So getting quick knockouts on these guys is very, very difficult, and that then puts the Beastmen into kind of an attritional fight. And that is not the kind of fight that Beastmen like. They like a quick hit and run with good results. So for the Beastmen to be successful against the Vampire Coast, I think requires a different kind of build. One that's got a little more staying power, and then that puts them at risk because they may find themselves getting torn up by long-range missiles and other stuff too. I don't know. How do you guys think the Beastmen match up against the Vampire Coast? I feel like I would have a hard time with the Beastmen against the Vampire Coast because the Beastmen don't have the best leadership, and they don't have a lot of units that can just grind and gut it out. They can have a lot of low leadership and stuff. They do have a lot of fast-moving cavalry, which can be good at cleaning up skirmishing units. But remember that the skirmish units from the Vampire Coast don't rout. Makes it really difficult to get those quick knockouts and quick results like that you really want. Got the fleet captain over here along with the Sirens, and they're going to put a stop to that Bray Shaman. Or, no, these are just the Razor Gore Chariots, my bad. The Razor Gore Chariots. We got Morgar is mostly untouched back here. There's another Razor Gore Chariot back there. Razor Gore herds are going berserk. The Bray Shaman is routing, and Aranessa is headed into another fight. Now, she is anti-large. Won't have any specific bonuses against Morgar. Now, over here you can see that some of the Beastmen troops finally cutting through. I mean, just look how effective these polearms are. How long they've held down this fight over here. It's a very long time. So that becomes a very effective fight in this particular matchup. Wow, I didn't mean to go under the earth there. The Butchers of Kalkengard being slowed down by a couple of random zombies there that are in the way, and they are really needed over in this fight. Here comes the Vampire Fleet Captain, a Doom Flock of the Sirens. Definitely a solid choice because they take magic damage. These bombs helping to get rid of a Razor Gore herd back here. So, nicely played back there. Then you got some chariots still harassing. Like I said, Morgar is in pretty good health, and the Butchers of Kalkengard is a tough unit, but they're not really going to be in a good place with these Sirens rolling around. They're going to get the armor-piercing damage. Plus, you got the Vampire Fleet Captain to hold them up. And it looks like they're just honestly trying to plow through and get to Aranessa. And that's not going to do them any favors either because it's going to lower their leadership and they're going to take a ton of damage. And then straight out of the toilet, here comes the the Depth Guard. The Bloody Reaver Deck Guard. More like the Bloody Diarrhea Deck Guard. That's it! I think we got it. Bloody Diarrhea Depth Guard. Yeah, so you can see Morgar in there, and those Minotaurs don't have a chance in this kind of fight with all these polearms. I didn't get to catch the Night Terrors in action. That's unfortunate, but it looks like that they came to a somewhat premature demise here. Looks like he met up with a Minotaur or something there, maybe. So Aranessa and her polearms here finishing off Morgar, who is really the only thing left at this point for the Beastmen, aside from a few infantry and these regrouped chariots. But Morgar is not in a good place in life. What few infantry has look really cool, but won't be terribly effective against this Depth Guard. But yeah, the Blackhorn Ravagers, really cool looking unit, decent number of kills on it. But yeah, Depth Guard and stuff's going to be able to hold out. And then this Vampire Fleet Captain also pretty well equipped. Sirens did a good job, and they cause terror. You get a unit like that into a late game against a faction like the Beastmen, and it's pretty much GG at that point. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. So, a victory for the Vampire Coast, rocking almost no missile units. I guess the bombers were the only ones, and that's not really a true missile unit in my opinion. At least it's kind of a specialist infantry unit, really. So yeah, interesting pick there by Broken Sky. Really enjoyed that one. And then 9394, fun play for the Beastmen. Probably a couple of changes in that army that you could make. I don't think the Minotaurs are a terrible pick, right? Both have purposes. Gives you some mass, the ability to charge through lines. I think the chariots are probably a pretty good pick too. The only unfortunate thing about the vampire coast is that they have cheap zombie pole arms, and they're pretty effective against large units like that. So it's just an unfortunate reality. Chariots may not end up being great, nor can some of their light cavalry, which is normally really good. Also, since units don't rout, it drops the effectiveness of Centigores and Warhounds and some of those other things. So I almost kind of think that it's risky, because you could come up against a skirmishy build, but part of me thinks that maybe what you want to build against the Vampire Coast is just a lot of infantry with an elite line of infantry like Bestigor herds or something like that to make it really difficult for the Vampire Coast to contend with. The coast does have missiles, but there's a lot of things that wouldn't do great against just a huge mass of infantry that they're just going to have to cut their way through. However, Vampire Coast can do some healing, they can do a lot of summons, they could survive it. So I just think being a low leadership faction makes it challenging against something like the Undead. I don't know, what do you all think about this matchup? I don't play it a lot, not 100% certain I even understand it right. That's just my take on it. Be curious to see what you all think. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. The last episode of the Archaon campaign is coming up soon. Soon I will also release the VODs for the Imperator Rome streams that I've been doing. They're still under a embargo. I know it's kind of weird. I can stream it, but then there's an embargo on the VOD. I don't really get it, but that's the way they want me to do it. So I'll release those soon. Should be a fun one. When I'm recording this, tomorrow I've got a battle coming up with Rome and Syracuse, and I've teamed up with Egypt. Should be a whole lot of fun. I think we finally have those guys, and we're going to go try and salt Rome for Carthage. Should be a lot of fun. Make sure you all check it out. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out. I will see you all soon.